Welcome, everybody. I know a lot of people have been kind of asking for it, a little bit of a spoiler dive into Scream 6 and what we think. And we're going to have some special guests with us today during our discussion. Our first guest has been on the episode of 5 Things in the past, where we talked about 5 things that we wanted to see in Terrifier 3. So that is Killjoy Jake. He is a fellow Snobby winner. He is the host of the Killjoy Jake show, and he is one of the stars in the Scream fan film Red Right Hand. So, without further ado.
Well, sometimes that is better.
Oh, man,
Hey.
you got my intro and everything? Look at that.
Heck
What's
yeah.
up?
Yeah, we gotta intro you guys in there, right?
you did it the best, man. You did it the best. What's up? How's it going, though?
It's going good. It's going good. It's been a couple weeks. I figured it was time to talk about Scream with some fellow Scream fans and get their takes of it and see what they think.
Absolutely, man. It's going to be a blast. I can't wait.
All right, the next person that's going to be on our show, somebody that I've been trying to figure out the topic to bring him in, and that is the host of Derek's Horror Stuff, and that is Derek himself.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's an honor.
All right, so before we dive into things, typically when Jen and I are doing an interview, we kind of both rotate through questions, but I'll be kind of hosting the questions because most of her answers are probably going to be the same as mine. So I'll let her go first when we get to those questions. But before we do that, let's talk about your shows. So Derek, can you let us know where we can find you and what we can expect on your channel?
So I have a YouTube channel. It's called Derek's Horror Stuff. And I do movie reviews, unboxings, a bunch of different stuff involving horror. Every once in a while I'll do like an interview or I'll do like a convention video. But yeah, that's where you can mainly find me, Derek's Horror Stuff. I got like Facebook and Instagram and stuff, but that would be my YouTube channel.
All right, the link will be in the description. Jake, how about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Killjoy Jake on YouTube. Come subscribe, doing horror updates on shows and movies that you might be excited for. So come on over. It's a good time. It's a good time over there.
Yes, and if you've been debating going to see Evil Dead, the new film that's coming out, he's got a review up. Go and check that out.
No spoilers. no spoilers yet.
I do like how you do your videos where you have the spoiler-free section and then you have the spoiler content at the end. I think that works really nicely.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right, so let's dive into some things. We all have had some time to let Scream 6 marinate, and what we may have thought when we first went in to see it may have changed. I know for me, I wanted to make sure that I didn't go into the movie overhyped. I've seen it 3 times now, and my opinion is not changed. But Jen, we'll start off with you, ladies first. So it's been a couple of weeks. What do you think of Scream 6 now and then?
Well, then I want to say that when I went into it, I probably was like super hyped because I'm definitely a Scream fan. With the exception of like a couple of them not being fantastic, I love all the Scream movies and I do rewatch them all. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll go see it again in the theater. But that opinion has changed. Now I would buy it and own it at home, keep it in my collection, but I will not go see it in the theater again.
All right, Jake, how about you?
Yeah, I was really hot on it the first time I saw it. I still really like it. There's little tiny things here and there with it, but overall, it's a killer sequel. I love it to death. I'm so excited to be talking about it for many more years to come. Definitely gonna be one I own and put on the shelf one day for sure. That Steelbook too looks super cool. So I can't wait to own that one.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah.
All right, and Derek, how about you?
Well, I would say that I went into the movie very hyped up about seeing the movie because I was so intrigued by how they said it's going to be so gory and, the best Scream ever. And there was so much publicity. And I will say, I think it was all right. I liked it as a movie, but I do think there were some flaws to it.
All right, so essentially the same. Like, I went into that movie extremely hyped, probably on the level of Scream 5 and Terrifier 2. when I went in to see those movies. And I kind of thought it's like, all right, well, maybe that affected me in the way I liked the movie. I mean, I felt a little let down leaving the theater because there was some things that were just missing. But having seen it 2 more times, my feelings the same. It's like I wouldn't rush back to go see it in the theaters anymore. Like with Scream 5, Jen and I went 8 times to see Scream.
Damn.
And it was just a need. It's like, oh, I gotta watch it again. And with this one, it's like, I'm good. I can take some time off from it now and just wait.
Yeah.
I've seen it like 3 times, and I think that's probably like I'm probably good there, you know. Like that's probably my like cutoff point. But I definitely want to buy it. Like I do want to see it again at some point. But yeah, that was good for me. I was like 3 times the charm.
I saw it once. I would like to see it again, but I only saw it once so far.
Yeah, see, we're lucky we got the movie pass up here, so you get to go to the movies every 3 hours if you want, and you just pay like $19. Oh, it's every 2 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
wow, nice.
Yeah, we're bored. We actually pulled a double header. So we went to see it in 3D. My wife took my daughters home, and I stayed, and she came back, and then we watched it in 2D right afterwards.
Nice. Was it any different in 3D? I didn't get to see it.
I thought it was a bit distracting. Like it took away from the movie a little bit the first time around.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'll tell you, man. I saw it in 3D 4DX, which was even more distracting because that is hard to sometimes keep an eye on the movie when you're getting thrown around in the seats.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, Derek, I think the only scene that really popped out was the shrine. That was it. Everything else just kind of looked normal.
Oh, for the 3D?
Yeah.
Dude, I was expecting that the shotgun thing was going to be 3D. I thought that would be really cool. I was excited for that. But yeah, honestly, there was like not much 3D there. I actually talked to a guy before I saw the movie. He's like, this is not going to be good in 3D because of the way that it was filmed. It wasn't filmed in a way that it was supposed to be for 3D is what he was telling me. So I was like, I don't know. But I went and checked it out, and I was like, yeah, maybe this guy's right because it really didn't pop off the screen. I would not pay the extra money for 3D again.
Yeah, no. All right, so Jake, what did they get right in this one?
I think they did a lot of things that were new and were really fun. The opening scene, I think, is a testament to that. I loved getting an early reveal. I've been saying that for what feels like years, that I want a Ghostface reveal mid-movie or something, and what do you know? First 5 minutes, bam, one of them's out the gate. And it was like, oh my God, that's so cool. That was like the biggest shock of the whole movie for me. I was like, this is crazy. I can't believe they did this. I love that opening scene to pieces. It's probably my favorite from the whole franchise now. I don't know. It's just something really personal to me that I've always wanted to see a movie from like a Ghostface perspective. I imagine it would be a whole different vibe from the other side, you know, and to kind of get a taste of that here was really refreshing. I loved that. It was a really brutal movie too. Like it was really brutal compared to some of the other films where, you know, like 2 and 3 are really campy, and I love that. But I loved that this one kind of took it down a darker path. We got some much more brutal kills. Annika's death is great. Yeah. That one is, oh my God, it's hard to watch. I don't know. There's a lot of really great moments in this that felt very different and kind of elevated the franchise for me.
Yeah, I like the kills too there, Jake, but did we jump the shark here? Because, you know, that buck knife is pretty long. That should have went through Annika probably.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. I think it was brutal, and I think that's awesome. And by the way, Annika's death scene in 4DX was cool because every time the ladder would shake, your chair would go with it. So that was actually really neat. But
okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that was sweet. I mean, I think it was brutal, but my problem is I don't think enough people that matter actually died. That's my take on this movie.
How about what they got right?
Well, I will say, again, the brutality I liked. I'm trying to think. Oh, what Jake said, the opening scene was freaking awesome. I love the opening scene. And I'm trying to think what else, because there was another thing I really liked about that movie. Again, Annika's death scene was sweet. That was one of the better kills, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, there's a couple other things. I'm sure I'll think of them as I go along. But right now, those are the few that are coming to mind.
All right, Jen, how about you? What did you think they get right on this?
So I think the kills were pretty brutal. I thought what they got right too were a couple of the kills were different. I liked the knife to the mouth. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah.
Especially because I didn't really
That
like Ethan. He kind of was like a whiny little. I didn't really care for
Yeah.
him, so I think
That
they
was
got
cool.
that. I think they got that right, and I did like the opening scene too. I was not expecting to have like Ghostface like pull his mask off, so that was pretty cool. That's something we haven't seen before, so I did like that too.
Yeah, I have to agree. That opening scene was so great, just having that reveal, right? I think maybe the second best scene for that entire movie for me was when we got to see two of the killers on screen at once. I threw my hands up in the air. I was so excited when I got to see that. But the opening scene was so good that you didn't know what was going to happen. Are we finally getting the cult of Ghostface? Where is it going? You know, and then we kind of just tailed off a little bit from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something that crossed. I actually talked to my brother a little bit about this today. I was telling him I almost would have loved to have seen Tony Revolori and this Greg character run a movie. Like, what would what would that have looked like? I'm
cool.
actually quite fascinated in those characters. I don't know. I would have loved to have seen a Ghostface perspective movie where it's like their whole goal is we want to finish Richie's movie. Maybe, you know what I mean? I've always thought that would be really cool. I loved getting a taste of that, but by the end I was like, I like the killers, but I don't love them, and I feel like I might have liked these guys a little better personally, but I don't know. You know, I haven't seen that movie, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. From the Ghostface perspective, wait a minute. That sounds familiar, right? So
It's almost like I really like this idea or something. But yeah.
So, not to go too far off track, so where can they see something from that perspective?
Well, I mean, if you want to see a $5,000 fan film that attempted to do this, it's not a $35 million movie like this one, but check out Red Right Hand. It's our little Scream fan film. We made it back last year. Came out in December. It's on my YouTube page for free. Go check it out.
Awesome. Yeah, so, yeah, I agree with everybody what they're saying there. So let's talk about maybe some of the things they kind of got wrong. Derek, yeah, go ahead and start. What did they get wrong, if you have something to add to what you already mentioned?
I think they dropped the ball on a couple things, but again, and I don't want to make it sound like I think it's a bad movie because I did a review on it. I gave it like a 3 out of 5 or something, so it wasn't horrible. But I think that they did a lot of marketing around New York City, and they, like I said, the biggest thing for me was actually the killers, like the reveal. That is what kind of killed me a little bit. It was very. I mean, sometimes they'll be really, you can figure them out pretty easily a lot of the time with Scream, and that is what it is. I just didn't like the motive for why it was happening. I thought it was weird to have an entire evil family, coming back for revenge. So it was a bit much. I thought it was a little lazy. I'm gonna be honest. And like I said, I wish more people had actually died because a lot of expendable characters died, but none of the, like, Chad getting stabbed up by the two ghost faces was awesome. But I really thought like he would die, or Gale, or somebody. But at the end, they just kind of brought everybody back. I thought 5 would be kind of like how they killed Dewey off. I thought they would kind of continue something like that. But yeah, man, I don't know. Like I said, it was for me a 3 out of 5.
Yeah. Like, I agree. Like, I don't know why Gale survived this one, right? They should have her arc is done, right?
Dude, I love Courtney Cox. I love Gale Weathers, but I just don't think that the character necessarily needs to be there anymore, especially since Neve Campbell's gone. Because they're trying to pass the torch to the new generation, and they're trying to keep some of the legacy characters there. But I don't know, man. I don't know how much further they can go with Gale. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was I had little tiny issues with it all over the place. Like, I definitely think Gale should have just died. I feel like they almost kind of robbed. They were like, we want to do the emotional death, but we don't. They want to have their cake and eat it too a little bit with this movie, especially with that sequence. Chad not dying doesn't bug me as much because one of my biggest complaints with the last movie was that I just didn't care enough about the core 4. Now I feel like I do. Like, when Chad almost died, I was like, no, like, what? I was so upset. But now that, like, him coming back, I was like, oh my god, this is cool. This is like, it's like Dewey all over again. It's great. So now that we have that emotional connection, I think that Scream 7 has a bit of an agenda. They have to kill somebody. They have to do it. We have that emotional connection now. Right. I mean, they're setting it up perfectly. If they don't, it's a massive missed opportunity, in my opinion. But yeah, it's little things, you know, it's little things all over the place. I think that bug me, but it's nothing to the point where I'm like, I can't believe they made that decision. But I will say my other big thing is I just feel like we did 3 killers and it was cool, but 2 of them feel like the kids feel very underdeveloped. You know what I mean? I don't like they kind of just feel like they're there to be Richie's family in a way, you know, and I wish we had gotten a little more, like maybe they had a personal stake in it, you know what I mean? Besides the fact that this person killed their brother, like maybe there's more to it, you know? With Ethan's character, we got that a little bit, but like you said, he's a bit annoying. And with Quinn, I don't know, I guess she's just really loyal to the family, you know? I wish there was something else. There was like, man, Sam, I can't believe you stole my egg salad sandwich. Now I'm gonna stab you. You know, something. I would have taken anything. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, I think they should have left in the cut scene or that they took out of the script where we find out what happened to their mother and they actually killed their mother because they didn't go along with the plan.
Like, that's awesome. Why was that not in the script? I don't know. It's messed up, but it's awesome.
Jen, how about you? What do you think they kind of got wrong in this one?
You know, I got to be honest. I think they got a lot wrong. And my first is that they didn't pay Nev what they should have paid her. The movie still did great. The movie was good, even though she wasn't there. I agree that it was, and I like that they did mention her. And you know, oh well, she's in hiding with her husband and kids. That was great, but they still should have paid the woman. The other thing were some of the kills were just so like made no sense. Like Annika, I'm sorry, her gut should have been spilling all out of her, like getting cut with that buck knife. She's a skinny little thing. That thing should have gone like straight through her. I think the reveal of the killers was absolutely terrible. I hated it. I hated everything about the reveal. I think that they were over the top. Dermot Mulroney, I've seen him in a lot of things. I think he's better suited for TV. I just do. I think he was way over the top cheesy with his acting, like he was trying too hard. And I was like, no, dude, like this isn't working. Gail, no one cares about her anymore. She should have just died. Like, I just don't think it matters anymore. I think at this point, she's just annoying. You know, she promised at the end of 5 that she was going to be like this good person and only write books or whatever about like heroes. And then she wrote a book and slammed Sam all over the place. Like, so she's really just the cockroach that everyone thinks she is. So and you know, you've already proven that anyone can die because they killed Dewey, right? Dewey's been there since the beginning, and he was a very loved character, I feel. So I think Gail is dispensable. I'm not sad that they didn't kill Chad. I think it definitely would have, you know, been a big shocker had they killed Chad, because people are a little attached to him. Now I'm attached to him. I like him. I feel like he can take the place of Dewey for me.
I think he's more lovable than Dewey.
Huh?
I said I think he's more lovable than Dewey.
Shh! Don't say that. Yeah, but I think they got I mean, it wasn't like huge things, but it was a lot of little things that they got wrong. And I mean, the whole thing with like Quinn dying or supposedly dying, and like he comes out and he's like, oh, she's dead. Where was her body? And why did people just believe him when he was like, oh, she's dead? Like, I just think you have to, even though it's a horror movie, you still have to make it a little believable.
Yeah, I won't. I can think you guys covered it well enough, but I'll say is what we didn't touch is I think they really missed the opportunity to elevate Scream 3 and Roman's character. If they were going to go the cult route and they had the whole movie playing in the background, I think they really could have tied it back to Roman a little bit better and elevated that movie. That was one of the things, like having recently discovered the Scream 3 promotional websites that tied into the canon of the story. It's like, oh man, if they really pull this off right, you know, they can make Scream 3 a lot better by focusing on Roman a little bit more.
The other thing too that I didn't like was I feel like we've seen this movie before in Scream 2. They regurgitated lines that were in that movie. Yeah. You know, it was college. I feel like they just took a lot from Scream 2. And it was done better in Scream 2. I'm sorry, but like when Quinn used,
I would say that's arguable.
I could tell Jake has something to say about it.
well,
I'd say it's
yeah.
I just there are many things about Scream 2 that are like pure perfection. You know what I mean? Like there are moments of that in Scream 2 that I love. I don't think they set up Mrs. Loomis very well. I've never been a fan of it. They feel like it feels like last minute they're like, let's film these shots with Gale, you know? And it's so out of nowhere. Detective Bailey, although his reveal isn't that great, I think how they set up his character is just so much better. It feels like from the get-go they had this idea in mind, where it just doesn't feel like that when you're watching Scream 2. It feels like, yeah, let's just bam, we're gonna do Billy's mom, you know. And it's like I feel like Mickey was the perfect killer for a sequel movie, and I don't know, he feels so overshadowed by Mrs. Loomis in my opinion. But I liked what they what they did here though.
Scream 2 is not one of my, it's not higher on my list as far as the Scream franchise goes. I just feel like they've repeated things from Scream 2, and there just wasn't a need.
Oh, they definitely did. They definitely did.
Yeah, no, for sure. But it's like, it's kind of building off of familiar things. Not everything. Like, I feel like there's some things in Scream 6 that it's like, why did they do that? I think the whole Mindy sequence in the park is like, that's just Brandy again, and no one's doing that better than Jamie Kennedy, you know? And I really like Mindy. I think she's a great character. I just, the writing there feels a little like ham-handed, you know? It's a little too much meta in your face. She kills it though. She kills it in the movie, but that whole sequence, it was like, you're just trying to do Scream 2 again, and I don't know. But some aspects of it I like. I think it's really arguable. It's really arguable what they borrow from Scream 2, if they do it better or not.
Well, I think they borrowed from Scream 3 a little bit too. You know, with the leaving of the photographs in Scream 3. Now we got the leaving of the mask. So hopefully that means Scream 7 is not going to follow the same formula that Scream 3 did, and we'll actually see some more originality to it.
Yeah, not to get too ahead of myself, but yes, I think that this was a really cool movie to like kind of just hit on all the sequels, kind of take some stuff from all over the place, you know. But now, if we do another one, yeah, we need just blank slate. Don't be ripping off Scream 3. Don't go to Hollywood. As cool as that would be, I think we got to just new setting, brand new, a whole new thing for 7.
Well, speaking of that, so Jake, are you excited for 7, and is there something that you want to see in part 7?
I'm really excited for it. I'm a little worried. I think I look at Radio Silence's schedule moving forward, and it looks like they got a real busy plate. A lot of things going on for them, which I'm excited for. Like, honestly, more than anything, they're doing Escape from New York. They're filming something in Ireland here in a week or something like that, which is awesome. They might already be there. I don't stalk them. What do I know? But I'm super happy for them more than anything. But with Scream 7, the big thing I'm hoping for is I don't want it to be anything like Scream 3. Don't be something where it's like, oh, I was with Richie the whole time on the stab Reddit. Haha. You know, that we're all expecting that. We are all expecting that. Subvert some expectations and do something else. Scream 5 was your love letter to the original. 6 was the love letter to the sequels. Now let's do something fresh.
Yeah.
Let's do our own thing. We built that emotional relationship with the core 4. I'd put them up there with the legacy characters. Hot take now. Now that we've done that across 2 movies, I think we can do some really crazy and inventive things with the 7th installment. So that's my one big wish for it, is just do something outrageously new this time.
Yeah, I agree. Derek, how about you? Are you excited for the next one, and what do you want to see in it?
No, I'm excited for the next one. I liked Scream 5, but at the time when I saw it, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I'll tell you, after seeing Scream 6, I actually like Scream 5 more than Scream 6, I'm gonna be honest, and I think that might be an unpopular opinion. But I like that one more because basically, again, more of that cast kind of dies off. And so for Scream 7, I'm hoping that they would actually, again, because again, you got this core 4 and they want to keep everybody where they are, and they want to keep Chad and they want to keep everybody else. I think that they did a great job. I didn't mention this before, actually, but I think they did a great job with like the actual cast. I think they did a better job than they did in the last movie. I liked them more. I believed them more. I felt like I understood who they were a little bit more. So I definitely can see keeping them and keeping the whole thing going. I just, again, would like to see some more action, I think. And then I would also, I don't know, I could see it, you know, maybe something where Sam is the killer, because people are talking about. I can see something like that happening. I don't know if it would, but with the end of this movie, which another one, by the way, another pro, I loved that end scene where Sam puts on the mask and then just stabs the shit out of Detective Bailey, because that thing was awesome. That was probably my favorite part of the whole movie, to be honest with you. But yeah, I would like it if she, I don't know, it might be too predictable, but I could see her being a killer, possibly going on some sort of a rampage or something. I don't know, but I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I agree with you there. So, like, I was leaning more into that coming out of 5 than I was with 6, where they're elevating Sam to be this alpha killer so that she can square off against Sydney eventually. So now I'm a little lost on that theory if it's still going to hold up.
Yeah.
Because you can't just off Sydney in the opening scene or just to a random killer. It has to be somebody that's been there.
We'll just get Sydney back. We'll get Nev Campbell back for 7. And then she can just be the killer.
People wanted it for a long time.
Yeah, right.
So, Jen, what about you? Are you excited for the next part? And what's one thing that you want to see?
I'm excited. I'm always excited for a Scream movie. This is just a franchise that I've always been really excited to see, like, the next film. Especially when we had like such a big gap in between, 4 and 5. And keep you waiting. I would like to see Nev Campbell come back. She doesn't have to be in the entire movie. Maybe just give us some kind of closure, right? Like, to get her out of the franchise if that's what's going to happen. She said herself that she doesn't feel like she's done with the character. And I don't feel like she is either. I feel like we need something. So I would like to see, that's the one thing that I would like to see is Nev come back at least on screen.
Yeah, I'm still excited for it as well. And just to give a little shout out to Craven Something Scary, get well soon. I'm going to steal one of his things from our 5 things on what we wanted to see in Scream 6. And those is the wide shots. Like, we focused on the characters a lot in this movie. We didn't get those wide shots of characters in the background. Like Scream 1 and Scream 2, I think what they did really well is you had those wide shots. So it's like, oh, is that person... Is that person, he's eyeballing stuff, Sydney in the hall as they're walking by, are they in on it? So you kind of really focus on the characters in this movie rather than expanding the world a little bit so you can see, well, maybe anybody's it. I think maybe that's what played into figuring out who it was so easily.
It built the mystery a lot in that original movie. You got to see like the shop owners like close up early and stuff. It was like, oh, this is little thing in high school is affecting this whole little California town.
Yeah.
You got little tiny moments of that in Scream 6, I think, like the park sequence, but man, I could have used even more New York shots. It's a gorgeous city. I don't know. It was just that's a really nice little detail in the original that really builds some character.
Yep. Jen, rank your Scream films. They're probably the same ranking as me.
Oh, was I supposed to do that?
Come on, you don't. All right, so Jake, go ahead. What do you rank the franchise films at?
So I nothing beats the original. I don't know if anything's gonna beat the original for me. Like, I love that one. That's number 1. Starting from the top, maybe I really liked 6. Like, with all of its faults, all of its little weird things, I had a blast with this movie all 3 times I saw it. So right now I'm still really hot on it. That might change, but right now it's my favorite sequel too. So I put that at number 2. Hot take, right?
Yeah.
I think 4, 5, 2, and 3. Like that's basically the rest of my list. I love those movies so much, but they do all feel like this is another Scream movie. 6 is the first. I feel like we're breaking some new ground. It might not have been perfect, but I can see this opening up to doing weirder movies in the future. You know what I mean? Like, I can see people looking at all the hype there was around that opening scene and being like, what if we did a whole movie about that? Or like looking at Ghostface with a shotgun and being like, what if we gave Ghostface some weirder weapons in the future, some more environmental kills? I can see that question starting to pop up in some producers' brains, and maybe even writers' brains too, and that's nice. Scream 6 inspired that, and I feel like we can see a really crazy new direction for the franchise moving forward if we start hopping on that. So 6, that's my favorite sequel. But yeah, 1, 6, 4, 5, 2, 3 right now.
Yeah, and before we get to you, Derek, I don't know about all of you, but I was not butthurt about that shotgun. I actually like the shotgun added into it.
Oh yeah, same.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So Derek,
yeah.
what do you rank them at?
So I had to actually write it down because I had to look at it. So I'm ranking it the original Scream 1, followed by, again, maybe another hot take. I don't know because I've heard mixed reviews, but 2 would be my second one, my second favorite. And then that's where it starts to get a little tricky for me after that. But I'm going 4, 5, 6, 3.
Oh, interesting. So I know for Jen and I, we pretty much, this is one of the few franchises that we agree on almost every single thing about the film. So it's definitely number 1. I'm going with number 5 at the second spot. Then we go
Ooh.
4.
Mhm.
Yeah, 4, 6, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, so I think that about does
Isn't
it. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, isn't it wonderful that everybody gets like everyone has a different ranking? I mean, everyone you talk to, I think, has a different ranking in these movies. It's a beautiful thing. Like, there's so many things to love about every single movie. Like, you could go back and forth about it all day. It's great.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I agree. I that's what I love about the franchise, the fans when it comes to the rankings of films. They don't kill each other over the rankings. Talking to some of the subscribers, some people rank number 3 as number 1.
Well,
Hey, yeah,
well,
that's you.
Yeah.
I put up a review saying that I didn't love this movie, and I will tell you there are a lot of people who got really upset about the fact that I gave it 3 out of 5. So there are some people out there who are not necessarily on board with this not being the greatest movie ever, in my opinion. But yeah, absolutely, there's still definitely a majority of them are really cool fans.
That kind of reminds me, like back when I was working at Blockbuster, we have those customers that come in. It's like, oh, you're not a true horror fan if you didn't watch this or that. It's like, there's plenty of horror for everybody. Stop.
Yeah,
Some
honestly,
people are
yeah.
going to love Jeepers Creepers. Some people are going to hate it.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
All right, so that's our conversation on Scream 6. Before we do head out, Jake, give us a shout out to your channel again, where they can go ahead and watch the killer's perspective of Ghostface.
Yeah, check out my YouTube channel, Killjoy Jake. Come subscribe, watch our fun, dumb little movie. It's a good time. I'm doing updates on Scream 7. Fingers crossed if it happens. It should be greenlit any day now. Honestly, let's be real. Can't wait. So updates on future horror movies and shows. Come on over and say hello.
All right, and Derek, how about you?
Same concept. Just Derek's Horror Stuff on YouTube. Again, I got Instagram, Facebook, Derek's Horror Stuff. It's all the same. But yeah, and I'm again, same concept. I'm waiting on Scream 7. I've heard that it's already going to come out, so we'll see what happens.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, and everybody. Definitely go over to their pages, check them out, subscribe to it, drop likes and comments, because those likes and comments are very important for us independent YouTubers. So make sure that you go ahead and do that. And until the next video, we'll all see you later.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.